Hey everyone, hope all is well. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the 5 things that you have to keep in mind if you are looking to appear for ISB MBA interviews in 2024. I'm recording this video right now. We have just concluded the ISB round 1 application deadline, which was yesterday, 15th September 2024. And a lot of us would be in a hurry on what to prepare, how to prepare, what is asked, what is the duration, when is the interview invite rolled out, when are the results, all of that. So I'll cover all of those things that you would have in your mind, which is frequently asked questions on the ISB interviews through these 5 sections of this video. So without wasting any time, firstly, when do we typically get the interview invites? I'll give an example of last year's application. So in 2023, the application deadline was 10th September 2023. Our mentees started getting invites from 30th September 2023. The interview invite is typically rolled out 7 days before your actual interview. For example, if Sarthak applied and he has an interview intimation mail on 30th September, his interview will typically be on the next weekend, which is 7th October. Interviews only happen on the weekends, be it offline or online, because interviews are taken by alums who are typically free only on the weekends. That's the second point, which is interviews at ISB are taken by alumni, typically 2 to 3 alums who might be from your background or not be from your background, and typically people from class of 2016, 2017 or beyond that. When it comes to somebody not being from your background, the ramification of that is if Sarthak has been a systems engineer in Infosys and he has used a lot of software tools and methodologies which are specific to Infosys. If he talks about them in the interview without clarifying what he means by that, then the alum who's taking the interview might not understand where you're coming from, because the alum is not coming from an engineering background, right? So all of your WorkX related questions have to be clearly thought and explained and verbalized, because the alumni might not be from your background. Just coming back to the first point once, the interview invites are rolled out in a scattered manner. Somebody might get an interview invite on October 7th, somebody might get an interview invite on November 1st. They are scattered, they don't come on the same day. Interview invites are typically rolled city-wise. Historically, I've seen Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad applicants, or those who have their interview preference in either of these three cities, typically get interview invites first, but you never know. It's random. People who have opted for online interviews might have it during the 3rd week of October or after that. The typical interview ranges are 1st week of October to 2nd week of November. So somebody might have an interview on November 10th as well, right? And the interview admit mail, or the final admit mail, is rolled out on the same day for everybody. Last time, the last date of the interview was November 5th. And the interview result, or the final result, admit or rejection or waitlist, came out on November 18th, 2023. So we can expect a similar timeline this time around, which is interview dates between October 1st week to November 2nd week, and interview result or final admit result coming out by November 3rd week or November last week. That's my hunch, nothing is official. And second point was alums take the interview. Another ramification of alums taking an interview instead of the faculty here means that the alums know the experience of ISB in and out, which means you can't really, for the lack of a better word, fake anything in front of them, be it your aspirations, or be it what you will do at ISB, or be it how ISB can help you, right? A lot of people, when they're answering the why ISB question, they end up making that answer an admissions brochure. They include everything. We'll study very hard, we'll become a part of the experiential learning program, we'll become a part of 3 clubs, we'll lead a club, we'll join a Dvaita, we'll do international immersion. To be honest, it's a 1-year program, right? So you can't do everything. So pick 2-3 battles that you want to fight, basis your aspirations. For example, if somebody is a consulting aspirant, they have to take care of their academics. So 60% of their functional hours on each and every day in the ISB PGP program will be geared towards academics, assignments, academic to-dos, right? They can't really participate in a lot of clubs, case competitions. They can, but they can only restrict themselves to one club, right? So when I was in ISB, I was really, aligned and inclined towards getting good marks. So a lot of my time went towards academics, assignments, projects. It's a hectic program. And I was the president of the Entrepreneurship Club. So the remaining bandwidth went towards that. And some of the remaining bandwidth beyond sleeping and chilling went to case competitions. So my three priorities were academics first, second, Entrepreneurship Club, third, case competitions, nothing else. No international immersion, no Advaita, nothing else, because I was a consulting aspirant. So I had to straighten out my priorities. And that's the kind of clarity these alums are looking for in your interviews, right? So please keep that in mind. That's the second point. The third point is the content of the interview. The ISB interviews are not technical in nature. They'll not ask you GK questions, business knowledge related questions, unless you have mentioned geopolitics or GK as one of your hobbies or pastimes in one of your essays, right? The questions are typically centered around your aspirations, your essays, your CV, what have you done, your leadership style. Tell us about a situation where you had a conflict with somebody at work, your individual contribution, a professional setback, why MBA essentially. And the funny thing is that maybe all of us who were applying for the ISB PGP this year would have spent the lowest amount of time in writing the third essay, which was the optional essay, which was tell us about your goals, how will ISB help you, right? It takes the lowest amount of time to write that essay, but that essay and your response to it occupies the most amount of time in the interview conversation. The interviews are typically centered around your aspirations, why ISB, short-term goals, long-term goals. If it's consulting, then why consulting? Why can't you get into consulting without ISB? Why do you need to spend 40 lakhs? All of those curveball questions. So please prepare for them अच्छे से. And that was the third. The fourth is on the kind of feedback that you get in the interviews, right? So the irony is that you don't get any feedback, no verbal or non-verbal cues to help you understand if you're doing well or not. The alums won't smile at you, whether it's an in-person interview or whether it's a Zoom call. They won't smile at you or respond in affirmation if they're liking you or your answers. They won't frown upon you if they are not liking your answers. So the secret sauce is to be the best possible and the most authentic version of yourself. I have had mentees who told me after their interviews that Sarthak, I had a 20-minute conversation and there were no curveball questions, no interruptions in between. They were just listening to me and moving on. And then I got to know that they did not get through. And I've had mentees who told me they were interrupting me in every answer. The alums were interrupting her in every answer and she was getting cornered and she thought that she had a bad day and she got through, right? So that happens. I mean, it's not like the GMAT that it's adaptive. You know, they'll make a poker face in front of you, so you can't gauge if you're doing well or not. So please keep that in mind. The last thing is obviously duration. Typically, the ISB interviews last from 30 to 40 minutes, but the duration is never a proxy of your performance. ऐसा नहीं है that if I had 20 minutes of interview conversation, then it was good or bad. And it doesn't mean that I had 1 hour long of interview, so they found me interesting. Never the case, right? So these are the 5 things that I wanted to discuss. I hope you prepare well, prepare early, prepare soon, because the ISB interviews are not easy. It's not a cakewalk. Even if you have a great GMAT, great profile, great essays, you can still get rejected. So please keep these 5 things in mind, and I wish you all the best.